Hi, 4th and 5th graders. Welcome back to the TV classroom.
Welcome.
Social emotional lesson today.
Yes.
I'm excited.
We have a new brain game.
I'm so excited. I don't know what it is. She didn't tell me this time, so I get to be surprised right along with you.
I love the brain games.
They're the best.
They're fun.
Before we get into our learning, though, let's check in with our zones. How are you feeling today?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Miss Aslan, how are you feeling today?
I feel mentally and emotionally in the green zone. Like I'm good to go. I'm focused. I'm calm. I'm kind of physically in the blue zone because I didn't sleep great last night. And I woke up with a headache.
That's no fun.
I know, but I got another cup of coffee and I'm drinking lots of water. So I'm sure I'll be fine.
Good.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm in the green-blue zone, my shoulder, arm, but I got 7.5 hours of sleep last night, which for some people that's not very much, but for me that's a lot of sleep.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So my brain is really active today. Some people getting a lot of sleep helps them focus. Me, sometimes. So I'm going to work really hard at focusing, but I'm in the green zone. I am
Awesome.
Feeling good. My emotions are good. Yeah, had a good morning with Oliver.
Good.
Yeah. Mr. Kevin, how are you feeling today?
Well, yesterday I was, as you know, I started out in the red zone. Kind of strange for me. But today I'm in the green zone.
Awesome.
Everything's good. So you know what? The chili hug, the stop and stay cool steps, kids, they work.
We watched Mr. Kevin do it yesterday.
Yeah, it works.
It worked for him. It does work. It feels silly. It really does. But I think the feeling silly kind of helps bring your thermometer down.
Yeah, it gives you something else to think about.
It gives you something else to think about. It makes you feel kind of silly, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're not deep into the emotions of what you were feeling before. It works very well.
It does.
Yep. All right. What are we going to do?
Well, let's remind ourselves today and every day when we come together, we agree to
show respect, make good decisions, solve problems. And one of the ways we are working on showing respect is to respect the indigenous peoples of this land.
Yes. So we're all going to take a moment, and if you're able, I'm going to invite you to look out your window. I want you to look at the sky, look at the trees, look at your surroundings. If you're not able to do that, you can close your eyes if you feel safe and picture it, or you can look at ours. Mr. Kevin knew exactly what I was going to say. Our physical space stands on the unceded land of the Coast Salish people. We acknowledge the Coast Salish community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. We make this acknowledgement as part of our work to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and white supremacy.
It's so important that we recognize that and remind ourselves of that.
It is. And as we move forward through the rest of the year, every single one of our TV classrooms will start with a message, this message or one like it. And we're going to talk a little bit every day about what this message means and why it's important for us to make this statement.
And we might even teach it to you so that you can say it along with us, because that might feel really powerful.
So, shall we play our brain game?
Let's do it.
Okay. This brain game is to help us practice stop and think, which is a really important skill when you are learning something new.
Oh, yes.
When you are feeling, a 4 or a 5 on the feelings thermometer.
Or even you're at a 3 and you feel like it might creep up there.
It'll help your brain, be able to stop and think before you say or do anything. It'll help you focus. Okay, this is called one back. And how we play this game is we're going to stand in a circle-ish, and the object of this game is for the other people in the circle to copy a previous or one back action, which means I'm going to do something and then I'm going to do a different movement. And Mrs. Wally and Mr. Kevin have to copy not the most recent movement, but the one before.
Okay, say that again.
Okay.
Because my mask was bothering
So
me. I'm sorry, Miss Awesome.
I'm going to begin with a hand action.
Okay.
Do nothing. Oh, you're writing it down. What a good strategy. You're going to do nothing. Then I'm going to say change, and I'm going to do a different action. Then you do the first action I did. So for example, if I go like this, change,
And then what happens next?
then I do a third action,
And you do the second action?
and you do the second action.
Okay.
You really have to think on this one.
This is why I'm writing this down, friends. So when she does the third action, I'm going to do the second.
That's why it's called one back.
When she does the fourth action, I'm going to do the third. And then do we switch off who gets to run it?
I think that would be a really good
Okay.
idea.
Remember, I have one hand.
Okay, that's a good reminder. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Kevin, are you ready for this?
I'm not really understanding what's happening.
If you look on where my paper is, I've written it down.
Oh,
If you want to,
sure. Let's do that.
A little bit.
Oh. let me,
so I have,
zoom
so
in
this
on
is
that.
the teacher, and we are the students. So when the teacher does the first action, we do nothing. When the teacher
Okay.
does the second action, we do the first action.
Okay.
When the teacher does the third action, we do the second action. So we're doing the one before. So we have to remember what she did the time before. At least we're not doing back action.
Oh my goodness.
That'd
Yeah.
be hard. Does that make sense now, Mr. Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. You can do it with us at home. This is a great one. They can do it at home with
It
us.
is. Here we
Okay.
go. Okay. Change. Change. Change.
Oh, I don't know what you just did for the second one. Oh, man.
Did I do it wrong?
Yeah.
The clap was
Do
the
it with
one
me.
back.
Do it with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's start again.
Okay.
Okay.
Start it. We'll start all the way over.
Start all the way over.
Okay.
And Mr. Kevin will do it together.
We do it together.
I'll
Okay.
say, are you ready?
All
and then
right.
we'll do it.
Okay.
Change.
Are you ready? Oh, I didn't ask you. Are you ready?
Sure.
Oh,
Change.
shoot. Are you ready? Are you ready? I think it's this. Is that right?
I think so.
Miss Dawson doesn't even remember. Now, one strategy could be, you could be taking notes
That would be a good
and take
strategy.
notes of what the action was that she was doing for each thing. Like just like a snap, clap, head, just one note to
Yeah.
like remember what you did. Because what I'm finding my problem is I'm trying to remember what you did before, so I'm not focusing on what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And for me and my brain, that is
That's true.
very hard.
I think that's tricky for anybody's
Okay,
brain.
are you ready?
Are you gonna?
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, we're starting over, Mr. Kevin.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Wah, wah. Can I make sounds?
Why not?
Sure. Do it.
Wah, wah. Change. Woo!
You ready, Mr. Kevin?
Uh-huh.
Wah wah.
Change.
Are you ready?
Woo!
Woo!
Change. Hmm.
Are you ready?
Change. Change.
Ready?
Change. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Okay.
I'm really having to like stop and think between each thing.
Weep, boop.
Bloop,
Bloop, bloop.
bloop.
Change. Beep, boop.
I'm lost now.
See, it's tricky when there's a noise with it
Yeah.
than just the hand movement.
But you guys have gotten farther than Mr. Kevin and I did, so I would actually differ with you. I think the sound helps you remember it better. You have both gotten way farther than Mr. and Kevin and I ever did.
Or something like that.
I did.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And
What?
my observation is that I'm back here, like punching buttons and things. So it's doubly hard for me.
Yes, because you are actually doing something else right now too.
Good job, Mr. Kevin.
So 4th and 5th graders, that is a brain game that you can
Oh,
play
yeah.
with anyone
What a
around
great
you.
exercise for your brain.
And it doesn't even have to be someone who's in the same room as you. You could play that virtually as well.
My mask is driving me crazy,
Oh,
Miss
I'm sorry.
Oslin.
Her mask is bugging her. We're gonna have to remember to help you solve
It,
that
it
problem
like
after.
is like going
poking
up
your
into my
eyes.
eye. Okay.
4th and 5th graders have both been working on hurdles on the path to teamwork. We've talked about some behaviors that can get in the way of a team being successful are interrupting, blaming others, excluding others, discussion problems, hurtful words, and then
Revenge. Wanting to get back at someone.
That's-
If you do your flip grid this week, if you go look
Yes.
at the flip grid episode, there's a really funny Bitmoji on there of me like in a like a Godzilla costume, almost like a big dinosaur, and like rah, like trying to take over because I'm
that is
trying to get
funny.
revenge.
Yeah, that's funny. And we recognize that when there is a hurdle on the path to teamwork, it can make us feel a 4 or a 5 on the feelings thermometer. And it's important for us to stop and think, name our feeling, and use a cool down strategy before we say or do anything.
And that lizard brain takes over.
Yes,
The amygdala.
The amygdala.
You have to be able to start to recognize. And the first step to this is just recognizing, oh, that part of my brain is starting to take over and I'm losing my own self-control because it's like, it's taking over.
Yep.
It's not an excuse for your actions.
No.
You still don't get to act in a way that's destructive or harmful, but recognizing it helps you stop it.
And one of the best tools
Yep.
to overcome any conflict, to overcome any hurdle on the path to teamwork is the cool rule or the platinum rule.
Which is
We treat others the way
they want to be treated. Unless they want to be treated in a way that's not kind. Then we just treat them kindly and move on with our day.
And this all requires us to really know the people on our team. We have to know them well to know how they want to be treated, to know
Right.
the best way to talk to them or approach them about things.
And if you don't, you could just ask, hey, I'm not sure what you'd like from me right now. What can I do to help you? It's always okay to ask.
We also learned the rule that no one gets left out. It's important for us to include everyone for many reasons, but one reason is because we learn so much from each other that
do.
if I didn't include Mrs. Wally or Mr. Kevin, I would lose out on learning from their perspectives.
And if you're leaving someone outside the classroom, you're supposed to learn together inside the classroom. And it's really hard to learn when you feel left out.
And there's that hurdle.
What a terrible show it would be if the two of you were left out and it was just me on the screen.
Oh, Mr. Kevin.
You can still hear our voices.
That's right. But that makes it so now not only is it a hurdle on the playground, you've now created a hurdle for that person in the classroom and their learning. And that is not okay. As much as we like to say, leave the playground on the playground, you can't just turn it off.
No, and even thinking about us as adults, as soon as the camera turns on, if something happened, I can't teach very well,
Correct.
right? Because I'm still thinking about
We
that.
had an issue yesterday where we had a bumblebee that came in, and Miss Awesome went and covered it with a cup. She excused herself from the lesson. I continued on. She covered it, and she came back because she knew that for her, if that bumblebee was still flying around, she was not going to be able to do her teaching.
Nope, I had to solve the problem.
She had to solve the problem, and that was a good example of us solving the problem in the moment.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, we're all humans,
Mhm.
and we all have feelings, whether you're an adult or a student.
We're going to learn something new today. We're going to learn to
Ooh.
identify the role of the bystander
Oh, yes.
and acknowledge the challenges of the bystander.
Yep. Bystanders are really important.
They are. And we're going to define bystander in just a moment. Before we do that, you're going to think about one of these hurdles or another one that you have observed one of your teammates showing or doing. So think about a time maybe you saw one of your teammates or heard them interrupt someone. Think about a time when you saw someone blame or exclude someone. Take some time and think about how did you feel and what did you do?
Want some more think time?
I think I have one.
I
Are
don't
you
have
ready?
one, but you
don't?
can go ahead and share. Mine might come to me.
Okay. I had an experience once where I heard someone talking poorly, using hurtful words about someone else who wasn't in the room. And you know what I did? I did nothing.
I have a story.
I did nothing.
I had a similar experience about some people who shouldn't be talking about another group of people. And it was inappropriate conversation that was happening. And you know what I did?
What?
I said, hey, everyone, I'm really uncomfortable with this conversation. So if you need to have this conversation, I'd appreciate if you do it when we're done with the meeting and not have me around. It's not appropriate. And you know what happened? They all stopped.
I bet they
And
did.
they never had that kind of conversation during that meeting again.
So a bystander is someone who observes a situation but doesn't act.
It's a stander by.
A stander by, one who stands by.
And just watches.
And that's what I did. I was a bystander. I did nothing. Do you want to know how I felt about it?
Probably pretty bad.
I felt terrible. I still think about it and I still feel terrible. But I didn't feel safe enough to say something.
When I said that, there are some teachers that got mad at me.
I bet. That's hard to hear.
It's hard, right?
But like we learned from Mrs. Burtz, you gave them feedback, and feedback is a gift.
And then the people weren't mad at me anymore, right? We had a conversation, and it was great. And we ended up being a great team, and great, amazing things came out of that, right? Everyone makes mistakes.
Yep.
Everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. The President of the United States makes mistakes. The President of the United States may have some of these hurdles, but it's what you do when you make the mistake and what you learn from it that's important. We're all going to make these mistakes.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who you are.
So we're going to think about the role of the bystander, the person who observes the situation but doesn't act. Think about that today as we read a book. It's called Say Something by Peggy Moss, and it's illustrated by Leah Lyon. There's a kid in my school who gets picked on all the time. I think he's sad. I think he's sad because he keeps his head down when he walks in the hall. And he hardly ever says hello. I don't pick on him. I feel sorry for him. There's another kid in my school who gets teased. He gets called names.
I have wondering.
Yes.
These people who are getting teased and picked on,
Mhm.
I'm wondering if they know this person feels that way or if they feel like that person is part of the problem.
It's good wondering.
Mm-hmm.
When he's moving through the halls, kids push him and tell him he's slow. I walk in the other side of the hall. I don't say those things. A girl who rides on my bus always sits alone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes kids throw things at her and call her names. The girls who sit behind her laugh. I don't laugh. I don't say anything. This is a bystander. This is a person who's observing a behavior
And not saying anything.
not saying or doing anything. They're not contributing to it, but they're also not saying anything to stop it.
Right.
They're just watching.
They're not the person doing the action, but they're also not an ally.
It's a bystander.
Mm-hmm.
One day my friends were out and I had to sit alone in the cafeteria. Some kids came over to me and they started telling jokes. I laughed until the jokes started to be about me.
Mm-hmm.
My face burned. I looked down at the table. I sat on my hands to keep them from moving so much. I tried not to cry, but it was hard not to cry. And when they saw my face getting wet, the kids started laughing. I wished I could stop crying. I wished I could disappear.
Mm-hmm.
When the kids left, I looked around the cafeteria. I was surprised to see that the cafeteria was full of students. There were even kids I knew sitting at the table right next to me. They were looking at me. I could tell they felt sorry for me. More bystanders. When I went home, I told my big brother I was mad at the kids at the table next to mine. He shrugged and said, "Why? They didn't do anything."
That answers my question.
"Right," I said.
It's not that the inaction is the problem. It's not that they didn't do it. It's not that they did something mean. It's that they didn't, what I like to say, stick up for her.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say, knock it off. It's not okay, guys. Because normally we're scared that then they're going to do it to us and we don't want that. So we just don't say anything.
I think our character is really starting to realize their role as a bystander with the other kids that they were talking about.
Because this person's experienced it now.
On the bus the next day, I sat next to the girl who always sits alone. She's really funny. Okay, let's stop and think about the role of the bystander and what are the challenges. Take some think time.
If writing your ideas down helps you think, do that.
Mr. Kevin?
This is bringing up some memories for me.
Oh.
Me too.
I've been the person being teased, which I thought I could handle. But then I've also been the person who stood up for someone who was being teased, and then me getting attacked for that. And it's not easy.
It's not.
At that moment, you just want to wish you were Superman and you could just, physically harm the teasers.
Revenge.
Revenge.
Yep.
It's never a good option, though.
It's not.
That's why being an ally is so hard.
Yeah.
I wrote down watch. For everyone's a bystander at 1st. Watch, then act and become an ally for the person being treated in a way that creates a division in the team.
Can you say that one
Yep.
more time?
Watch and then act and become an ally for the person being treated in a way that creates a division in the team. That doesn't necessarily mean that you go, stop it, you guys are so mean. It could be, you know, I really like that bow in your hair today. Do you have any more at home? I might bring you one tomorrow. Diffuse the situation. You don't always have to confront. You can diffuse and help that person remove themselves from the situation. Sometimes you need to confront. Sometimes that's the appropriate thing to do, and that's hard. But sometimes diffusing or making a joke and then helping that person get away can be more effective.
So maybe like going and finding something else to do at recess, if that's where it's
Right.
happening.
Or just saying, hey, come on with me. Let's go do something. Or I'll eat lunch with you.
Yeah.
We're not going to worry about what they say.
I'll sit by you on the bus.
Right. And even if those people start teasing, you just say, at least we have each other.
And if it continues,
Then you get an adult.
you ask for help.
We
Always.
eat once. One strategy. One friends. We should never hear students say to us, someone's been teasing me for 6 weeks on the playground and they won't stop.
No, that's too much.
Too
Too long.
many times.
It's too much.
You deserve to be respected because you are you. Everyone deserves respect, including the people who are teasing.
That's true.
So we have to figure out how to be a team and how to help everyone in the situation.
And it all goes back to, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I am. It's just a fly.
Okay. It all goes back to the cool rule, which is we treat others the way they want to be treated.
Can we do a thought thing for a moment?
Yeah.
This is going to sound funny.
Okay.
I want you to imagine that you're the person teasing. What would you need from the ally to help you recognize that what you are doing is wrong? What might be helpful and what could potentially be embarrassing and make the problem worse?
I learned a new term recently. Miss Larson taught this to me.
Miss Larson's wonderful.
Calling someone out versus calling someone in.
Yes.
Calling someone out is in a public setting, correcting their behavior. Calling someone in is in a private setting saying, hey, I heard you use this word. Let's talk about it with each other and let's learn together about what you're saying.
Right.
So calling someone into the conversation in a way that feels safe
So important.
and is educational so you can both learn from it.
Right. And then that person doesn't feel attacked.
There is a place for calling someone out.
Absolutely. There's a time when there was something that is wrong. You say, we don't do that here. That is wrong.
That must stop.
But just to think about when you're being the ally, you need to think of all the perspectives, right? I just wanted to add that in. Like,
no,
it's
I
a
think that's
different
important.
perspective, especially with 4th and 5th graders. I think they're mature enough and ready to start thinking about that. What can you do as an ally to diffuse the situation and protect the person that is being attacked or teased or hurtful words are being said about, right? Like in the case where we were both talking about someone talking behind someone's back or talking about people, that's a time we said, this is, this isn't appropriate. I don't want to talk about this.
That's an appropriate call out. And then maybe you could go back and have a call in and have a conversation about why it was inappropriate.
Such a great Miss Larson.
I know,
She's so great.
Miss Larson, kiss your brain if you're watching. We also think about no one gets left out.
Ooh.
We include everyone. This includes the person who was saying hurtful or exhibiting the hurdle behavior.
Right.
We need to include them because they're still part of the team.
And they're typically doing that hurdle behavior because there's something going on that they may also need help with.
So hurdles on the path to teamwork, we think about interrupting, blaming others, excluding, discussion problems, hurtful words, and revenge.
And
And what is the role and responsibility of a bystander. That's the person who's observing but isn't doing anything.
So what's their job at that point?
Because today we learned to identify the role of the bystander and acknowledge the challenges.
So hard.
It is hard to be brave and do the right thing.
It's so hard.
But we can do hard things.
We can do hard things, even if you don't know the people.
So, 4th and 5th graders. Our 5th graders have been active on our
They
flip grid.
have. We've responded.
We
So if you've
have.
posted on our flip grid, but you haven't gotten an email that someone else commented, go check and see if I commented.
And when you post on Flipgrid, remember that we don't use anyone's name. We just say
Nope.
someone or a person. Try, if you remember, to include what school you're at and your teacher's name, because we are going to be sending you stuff for
Or you could-
posting on the Flipgrid.
And if you don't want to put your identifying information for all the kids in the district to see, you can also just send us a quick email to let us know. Or we'll respond and say, hey, send us an email if you would like.
So on Flipgrid, your job is to answer the question, what is the role and responsibility of a bystander? What are the challenges? You could also post about a time when you were a bystander or you were any of these other roles.
Also,
Whatever
friends,
you're comfortable with.
I want you to know that when you post something, Miss Oslin and I have to read it first before anyone else can see it. So if you post something and it doesn't get posted, we would let you know why. But it's probably because you use someone's name. So I don't want anyone to feel worried that someone's going to post something and call them out on public for everybody to see. We will not allow that to happen.
Yeah. Now, if you're not comfortable with Flipgrid, that's okay. Mr. Kevin's going to tell you 2 alternative ways to tell us what you're thinking.
That's right, 4th and 5th graders. You can use your laptop to email us here at the TV Classroom. TV Classroom at tacoma.k12.wa.us. Or you can mail us TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Now it's time for our affirmation.
Here we go.
I am going to use an affirmation that you just reminded me of with your words, but I also learned it from Senator Tawana Nobles when she was here. Is I am worthy of respect.
Yes. Every single person.
So I'll take a deep breath together and say our affirmation.
I am worthy of respect.
Excellent job today, 4th and 5th graders. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you back here next time in our TV classroom.
Bye, friends.
Rules. 1. You have 10 seconds to pick your crewmate. 2. A new timer will appear with an exercise for the crewmate you picked. 3. You will get points for each correct crewmate and exercise you choose. 4. You will get bonus points if you find Maui's hook. 5. If you pick the imposter, you will lose all your points. 6. Use your math skills to see how many points you can get. Good luck.